So it's that time of year again where we all experience dry skin, and some parts of our body, namely our hands and feet, often gets the worst with, cracked fingers and calloused feet. So today I'm going to share with you guys 5 easy tips that I think is doable and really requires minimal effort in the sense you just kind of have to get in the habit of doing. Tip number 1 is to switch up your regular hand soap for a gentle cleanser. Yes, you heard me right. Gentle cleansers are just as effective at cleaning your hands as regular hand soap. I mean, there's really nothing special about hand soap. There's no magical ingredient that is there to cut down on the bacteria. In fact, what we do know is it's really the act of cleansing itself, lathering, that is going to be more effective than any sort of particular antimicrobial ingredient in the hand soap, which often these days there's probably more bacterial resistance to those ingredients, which is why healthcare workers talking about washing your hands for that 20 second hand washing rule. But it's really the amount of time that you lather and sud than truly any ingredient. And switching to a gentle cleanser is going to be effective at cleaning your hands, removing bacteria and dirt. But they often have less drying detergents as well as more hydrating ingredients that's going to be less drying and more gentle on your hands. Here, I do recommend going with a foaming cleanser that's able to sud and lather more readily so you can get an effective clean and removing the bacteria and dirt, and not really choose a creamy cleanser. For example, the Lipicar line from La Roche-Posay, that one is a great gentle cleanser for hands, for body, for face. Cetaphil, this hydrating foaming cream cleanser, it's creamier, but it does create a lather. I also really like the one from Vanicream. Their cleanser is really nice, it creates a nice gentle lather. And just remember, the key is to lather on for 20 seconds and then rinse off. Tip number 2 is moisturize your hands immediately after hand washing. And this is very difficult to do, and I am also guilty of not being able to do this regularly, but as much as you're able to, applying a moisturizer immediately after hand washing is really going to minimize the damage from hand washing and try to repair dry hands. Just like skincare, we talk about moisturizers going on skin best when it's damp. When you have really dry skin on the hands, applying a moisturizer when your skin's completely dry is going to be better than doing nothing. But if you're trying to really get on top of the dry, thickened skin, applying a moisturizer immediately after hand washing when your hands is still damp is really going to be key. It sometimes just really involves you getting into the habit of doing so. There are ways you can certainly make it easier on yourself. For example, I like to just have multiple moisturizers around the house, making it more readily accessible and easy for me to apply. I mean, if I have to go up the stairs and go to my bathroom to put on a moisturizer each time, that is a lot of effort. And if I'm downstairs in the kitchen with a newborn, a fussy baby, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be really hard. So having moisturizers like small tubes sitting around, in your purse, in your bag, by your computer, whatever you can do to really make moisturizers more accessible to you so that way you can more readily put that on is really going to be key. But particular ones I really like that come in smaller sizes are good moisturizers include just the CeraVe moisturizing cream. It comes in that big jar, but also has a smaller tube. Another one I have here, these are particular hand creams, but this is a really nice one. It's the Cicaplast line from La Roche-Posay, and it's their hand cream that contains niacinamide, glycerin, shea butter, dimethicone, and it's a nice rich gel cream formulation, and it dries fairly quickly. The dimethicone here really gives a slip and doesn't feel really at all greasy or tacky. And I think that is often a reason why people may not want to put moisturizers on their hands, is they don't often enjoy that sticky feel and don't want to leave imprints on their computer, their keyboard. But this hand cream is great if you do a lot of work with your hands and don't want to leave any sort of greasy marks behind. Similarly, another one is from Skin Fix, their eczema hand repair cream. This is also a really nice one. It's pretty nourishing, slightly more greasy than the Cicaplast, but again is great one if you're looking for a hand cream to use. And this size is very travel friendly. You can easily put it in your bag. And then another one that I think is fun, I just want to share with you guys, I actually got as a gift from a friend in Europe, but this is an actual mousse. It's called EVY Technology, and it's a European brand, but I find this really actually fun to use. But literally it dispenses like a mousse. It contains urea and glycerin, so really nourishing ingredients, and I love it because it softens my skin immediately. Feels really nice, but again doesn't give you any sticky, tacky, or greasy feel. Lastly, if you are wanting something that's more easy to use, travel friendly as well, check out Aquaphor's ointment spray. For their ointment, they now make in a spray bottle that comes in a smaller size. So you can literally just spritz with one hand and this mist of ointment be dispensed. It is going to be more greasy but nourishing. So really suitable for those with extra dry and cracked hands, feet, fingertips. Tip number 3, consider slugging for your hands and feet. So that trend of slugging for face is not really new. And as a dermatologist, this is a trick that I've recommended to my patients, in particular for the hands and feet, for many, many years. It really works miraculously over time and quickly turning your thickened callous feet around, thickened hands around. And this method, I frequently will have my patients who suffer from extreme like hand eczema do on a regular basis. And there's a little bit of trick to that and what I call the soak and smear. So you don't just, grab petrolatum and smear all over your hands and feet and done. What you want to do is actually soak your hands or feet or both in a little bit of lukewarm water, about 5 to 10 minutes to really soften the skin. Basically until your fingertips get a little slightly wrinkly, and then pat them dry. And then you can certainly put on a layer of moisturizer if you like. Otherwise, you literally just take good old petrolatum, smear it all over your palms, all over your feet, and then go and find a pair of cotton socks and cotton gloves. And ideally, if you can, do this at night before your sleep and sleep in that. The next day, you will wake up with super soft hands and feet. And if you do this repeatedly, it can turn around the worst cracked feet, cracked hands, dry hands. And when you have eczema of your hands, I often, as I said earlier, will have my patients do this and may even put on a medication before the petrolatum to really help the medication work more effectively. So tip number 4, if you have thickened and callous skin on the feet or hands, add in urea or alpha hydroxy based product or exfoliant. If you have super thickened and callous skin, that thickness and roughness is going to take a long time to improve. And this is where often paring it down with a pumice stone can be helpful, or you can add in a regular product containing exfoliant. And if you do this regularly, it will over time thin out that callous skin. So you can certainly pick foot creams, hand creams containing urea or like lactic acid or glycolic acid, or this is a great way to repurpose some of your chemical exfoliants that you're not using for your face. So whether it's your exfoliating pads, exfoliating creams, exfoliating toners, whatever is sitting on your shelf that is just sitting on your shelf. And you can literally apply this to your feet every day after shower, and then afterwards put on a moisturizer or really just seal it in with petrolatum, put on a pair of socks, and the next day waking up to, again, super soft skin. But then over time, it will help with that dead skin buildup. If you're looking for particular foot creams that contain these ingredients that help with the thick, roughened skin, I have talked about CeraVe's diabetic line. The Urea foot cream is a great one. You can also check out Dermatology, their new concentrated foot cream that contains lactic acid, glycerin, and urea along with ceramides, and it's got this peppermint scent to it. That's a really nice one. It's a pretty thick, nourishing foot cream. And Lactin foot cream also is great. It contains 15% lactic acid, really helpful for those thick and callous skin. So if you're looking to have like a foot cream or ointment combined, so you don't have to put on another layer of petrolatum, but still has active ingredients that will help with the callous and thickened skin, you can try Carasol's intensive foot repair ointment that contains salicylic acid, 10% urea in a petrolatum base. So literally you can just put that on after soaking your feet and then put on your pair of socks and call it a night. So tip number 5 is to remember to extend your cream moisturizer that you put on your hands to your nails and cuticles. We often don't think about our nails being dried out, but excessive exposure to water is one of the most common causes of dry nails, and over time they can get brittle, they can peel more easily, split. And certainly there can be genetic as well as medical conditions and habits that can contribute to dry, brittle nails. But repeated hand washing and exposure to water can be one of the biggest culprits that can cause dry, brittle nails. So the best way to take care of your nails is number 1, minimize exposure to water aside from hand washing. So when you're washing dishes, doing house chores, put on a pair of gloves. And when you do wash your hands, make sure, like I said, to extend the moisturizer just to massage it over your nail plate and cuticles. And another trick is to put on a layer of petrolatum to coat your cuticles and your nails before you sleep. You can certainly do this as part of your slugging step and just making sure that you're extending the product to these areas. All right, guys, so those are my 5 simple, easy tips to keep the skin on your hands and feet and nails healthy throughout this winter. Hopefully you find find these tips helpful. If there are any particular topics you want me to address in more detail, like how to maybe treat thickened nails, how to better take care of your nails, or say how to manage hand and foot eczema, let me know in the comments below and I'd be happy to make a separate video on those topics. Once again, I would love it if you can give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out more of me on my other social media channels, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.